Recruiting Officer, Scene 1, in which Sergeant Kite of Her Majesty Queen Anne's Grenadiers pursues his recruiting duties in the market town of Shrewsbury, in the year of our Lord, 1704.
If any gentlemen, soldiers, or others have a mind to serve Her Majesty Queen Anne and pull down the French King, if any prentices have severe masters, any children have undutiful parents, if any servants have too little wages, or any husband too much wife, yes, let them repair to the noble Sergeant Kite at the sign of the Raven in this good town of Shrewsbury, and they shall receive present relief and entertainment. Gentlemen! I don't beat my drum here to ensnare any man, for you must know, gentlemen, that I am a man of honor. Besides, I don't beat up the common soldiers. No, I list only grenadiers. Pray, gentlemen, observe this cap. This is the cap of honor. It dubs a man a gentleman. And he that has the good fortune to be born 6 foot high was born to be a great man. Sir, will you give me leave to try this cap upon your head?
Go on, Thomas.
Is there no harm in it? Won't the cap enlist me?
No more than I can. Come, let me see how it becomes you.
It smells of sweat and brimstone. Pray, Sergeant, what writing is this upon the face of it?
The crown, or the bed of honor.
And what may be that bed of honor?
Oh, a mighty large bed. 10,000 people may lie in it together and never feel one another.
My wife and I would do well to lie in, for we don't care for feeling one another. But do folks sleep sound in this same bed?
Aye, so sound that they never wake, brother.
Brother! Hold there, I'm no kindred to you that I know of. Look here, Sergeant, no coaxing, no wheedling. If I have a mind to list, why so? If not, why 'tis not so. Therefore, take your cap and your brothership back again, for I ain't disposed of this present writing.
I coax? I wheedle? I'm above it, sir, 'tis base. Though I must say that never in my life have I seen a man better built. How firm and strong he treads. But I scorn to wheedle any man. Come, honest lad, will you take share of a pot?
Nay, for that matter, I'll spend my penny with the best he that wears a head.
Give me a hand, then. And now, gentlemen, I have no more to say but this. Here's a purse of gold, and there is a tub of ale at my quarters. 'Tis the Queen's money and the Queen's drink. I hope, gentlemen, you won't refuse the Queen's health. Huzzah, then! Huzzah for the Queen and the honour of Shropshire!
Scene 2, in which Captain Plume, our recruiting officer and Sergeant Kite's superior, arrives in Shrewsbury from urgent business in London.
4 o'clock.
At 10 yesterday morning, I left London. 120 miles in 30 hours is pretty smart riding, but nothing to the fatigue of recruiting. Boy!
Captain.
Stable my horse.
Hi, Captain.
Welcome to Shrewsbury, Captain Plume. From the banks of the Danube to the Severn River, Captain, you're welcome.
A very elegant reception, Mr. Kite. I find you're fairly entered into your recruiting strain. Pray, what success?
I have been here but a week and I have recruited 5.
5.
I have enlisted the strong man of Kent, the king of the gypsies, a Scotch pedlar, a scoundrel attorney, and a Welsh parson.
An attorney? What, thou mad? List a lawyer? Discharge him.
Why, sir?
Because I will have nobody in my company that can write. A fellow that can write can draw petitions. Discharge him this minute.
But, sir, you have got a recruit here that you little think of.
Who?
Remember your old friend Molly at the castle?
She's not with child, I hope.
She was brought to bed yesterday. A boy.
Kite, you must father the child.
And so her friends will oblige me to marry the mother.
Then we'll take her with us. She can wash, you know, and make a bed, upon occasion.
Aye, or unmake it upon occasion. But your honour knows that I am married already.
To how many?
5, sir, to my reckoning.
Come, make 'em half a dozen, Kite. Set the mother down in your list, and the boy in mine. Enter him a grenadier by the name of Francis Kite, absent upon furlough. I'll allow you a man's pay for his subsistence. And now, go comfort the wench.
I shall, sir.
Oh, but hold. Have you made use of your German doctor's habit since you arrived?
Yes, sir. Dr. Conundrum's fame's all about the country for the most faithful fortune tellers that ever told a lie. This device, sir, will get you men and me money, which I think is all we want at present. But yonder comes your old friend, Mr. Worthy. I'll take my leave.
'Tis indeed the picture of Worthy, but the life's departed. What, arms across, Worthy? Methinks you should hold them open when a friend's so near.
Bloom! My dear Captain, welcome! Safe and sound returned.
I escaped safe from Germany and sound, I hope, from London.
Thou art a happy fellow. Once I was so.
What ails thee, man? Has your father rose from the dead and reassumed his estate?
No.
Then are you married, or mad, or turning Quaker?
Captain, your once gay, roving friend is dwindled into an obsequious, thoughtful, constant coxcomb.
And pray what for?
For a woman.
For a woman? 'Sdeath, I have been constant to 15 at a time, but never melancholy for one. Who is she? Do I know her?
Very well. What think you of Melinda?
Melinda? Why, she began to capitulate this time 12-month, and offered to surrender upon honourable terms. And I advised you to propose a settlement of £500 a year to her before I went last abroad.
I did. And she hearkened to it, desiring only 1 week to consider. But then her aunt dies and leaves her £20,000.
Oh, the devil.
I did make one general assault, but I was so vigorously repulsed that, despairing of ever gaining her for a mistress, I've altered my conduct and court her now for a wife.
Oh, so, as you grew obsequious, she grew haughty, and because you approached her as a goddess, she used you like a dog.
Exactly.
'Tis the way of them all. Come, Worthy, if you want to bring her to better thoughts of you, she must be reduced to a meaner opinion of herself. Let me see. The very first thing that I would do should be to lie with her chambermaid and hire 3 or 4 wenches in the neighbourhood to report that I'd got them with child. Or, what if we made a ball and forgot to invite her?
These would be mortifications, I must confess. But we live in such a precise and dull place that we can have no balls.
What? And no bastards neither. And so many recruiting officers in town. I thought 'twas a maxim among them to leave as many recruits in the country as they carried out.
Nobody doubts your goodwill, noble captain, in serving your country with your best blood.
I hope Sylvia has not heard of it.
Oh, sir. Have you thought of her? I began to fancy you had forgot poor Sylvia.
Your affairs had put mine quite out of my head. It is true. Sylvia and I had once agreed to go to bed together. But she would have the wedding before consummation, and I was for consummation before the wedding. We could not agree.
Do you intend to marry upon no other conditions?
Your pardon, sir. I'll marry upon no condition at all. If I should, I'm resolved never to bind myself to a woman for my whole life, till I know whether I like her company for half an hour. Sdeath. I love Sylvia. I admire her frank, generous disposition. There's something in that girl more than woman. Her sex is but a foil to her. The ingratitude, dissimulation, envy, pride, avarice, and vanity of her sister females do but set off their contraries in her. In short, were I once a general, I would marry her.
Faith, you have reason. Were you but a corporal, she would marry you. My Melinda coquettes it with every fellow she sees. I lay £50 she makes love to you.
I'll lay £50 that I return it if she does. Look, Worthy, I'll win her and give her to you afterwards.
If you win her, you shall wear her. Faith, I would not give a fig for the conquest without the credit of the victory.
Captain!
Sergeant Case.
Mr. Worthy, Captain, a word in your ear.
You may speak out, here are none but friends.
You know, sir, that you sent me to comfort the good woman in the straw, Mrs. Molly. My wife, Mr. Worthy.
Oh, very well. I wish you joy, Mr. Kite.
Your worship very well may, for I have got both a wife and a child in half an hour. But, as I was a-saying, you sent me to comfort Mrs. Molly. My wife, I mean. But what do you think, sir? She was comforted before I came.
As how?
Why, sir, a footman in a blue livery had brought her 10 guineas to buy her baby clothes.
Who in the name of wonder could send them?
Mistress Sylvia.
Sylvia? Generous creature. Possible.
Here be the guineas. Mistress Sylvia sent word the child should be taken all imaginable care of, and that she intended to stand godmother. The same footman told me that his lady would speak with me. I went, and upon hearing that you would come to town, she gave me half a guinea and ordered me to tell you that Justice Balance, her father, would be glad to see you.
There's a girl for you, Worthy. Is there anything of woman in this? The common jealousy of her sex, which is nothing but their avarice of pleasure, she despises, and can part with the lover, though she dies for the man. Come, where's the best wine? For there I'll quarter.
Horton has a fresh cask of choice Barcelona, which I've reserved for your welcome.
That's away then. Mr. Kite, tell the lady I shall only refresh a little and wait upon her.
Kite, have you seen the other recruiting captain?
No, sir.
Another recruiting captain? Who is he?
Captain Brazen, my rival for Melinda. And the most unaccountable fellow. But I'll tell you more as we go.
Scene 3, in which Captain Plume's young lady Sylvia, fresh returned from the country, visits her cousin Melinda, and harsh words are spoken on both sides.
I envied you your retreat in the country, Sylvia. For Shrewsbury, methinks, is the most irregular place for living. Here we have smoke, noise, scandal, affectation, and pretension. In short, everything to give the spleen and nothing to divert it. And the air is intolerable.
Oh, madam, I have heard the town commended for its air.
But you don't consider, Sylvia, how long I have lived in't. For I can assure you that to a lady the least nice in her constitution, no air can be good above half a year.
Half a year?
Change of air I take to be the most agreeable of any variety in life. Have not you, Sylvia, found a vast difference in the taste of airs?
Taste air? You might as well tell me I may feed on air. But prithee, my dear Melinda, don't put on such an air to me. Your education and mine were just the same.
Our education, cousin, was the same, but our temperaments had nothing alike. You have the constitution of a horse.
Sure, I can gallop all the morning after the hunting horn and all the evening after a fiddle. In short, I can do everything with my father but drink and shoot. And I'm sure I can do everything my mother could, were I put to the trial.
You're in a fair way of being put to it, for I'm told your Captain Plume is come to town.
Aye, Melinda, he is come. And I'll take care he shan't go without a companion. Even if I have to put on breeches and list myself.
You poor romantic. Have you the vanity to imagine that a young, sprightly officer can confine his thoughts to the little daughter of a country justice?
Pshaw! What care I for his thoughts? I should not like a man with confined thoughts. It shows a narrowness of soul. Constancy is but a dull, sleepy quality at best. Nor do I think it deserves a place with bravery, knowledge, policy, justice, and some other qualities that are proper to that noble sex.
Oh, my conscience, Sylvia, hadst thou been a man, thou hadst been the greatest rake in Christendom.
I should endeavour to know the world, which a man can never do thoroughly without 100 friendships and as many amours. But now I think on't, how stands your affair with Mr. Worthy?
He's my aversion.
You should not use that honest fellow so inhumanely. He's a gentleman and my Plume's friend. And by all that's sacred, if you don't use him better, I shall expect satisfaction.
Satisfaction? You begin to fancy yourself in breeches in good earnest. But to be plain with you, I like Worthy the worse for being so intimate with your captain, for I take Plume to be a loose, idle, unmannerly coxcomb.
Oh, madam, you never saw him, perhaps, since you were mistress of £20,000. You only knew him when you were capitulating with Worthy for a settlement, which perhaps might encourage him to be a little loose and unmannerly with you.
What do you mean, madam?
My meaning needs no interpretation, madam.
Better it had, madam, for methinks you're too plain.
If you mean the plainness of my person, I think your ladyship as plain as me to the full.
Were I assured of that, I should be glad to take up with a dissolute officer as you do.
Again, look'ee, madam, you're in your own house.
And if you had kept in yours, I should have excused you.
Don't be troubled, madam. I shan't desire to have my visit returned.
The sooner, therefore, you make an end of this, the better. Lucy! Lucy!
I'm easily advised to follow my inclinations. So, madam, your humble servant.
Saucy thing.
What's the matter, madam?
Did you not see the proud nothing? How she swells upon the arrival of her fellow?
Her fellow's not been long enough arrived to occasion any great swelling, madam. I don't believe she's seen him yet.
Nor shan't, if I can help it. Let me see. I have it. Lucy, bring me pen and ink. Hold, I'll go right in my closet.
An answer to this letter, I hope, madam.
Who sent it?
Your captain, madam.
Captain Brazen. He's a fool and I'm tired of him. Send it back unopened.
The messenger's gone, madam.
Then how shall I send an answer? Call him back immediately while I go write.
Scene 4, in which Captain Plume pays a visit to Sylvia's father, Justice Balance, to renew their friendship.
Look'ee, Captain, give us more blood for our money, and you shan't want men. Odds be life. Get us another victory, and I'll go myself for a soldier.
Pray, Mr. Balance, how does your fair daughter?
Oh, Captain, what is my Sylvia to such a victory? We're upon a nobler subject. I want to have a particular description of the Battle of Blenheim.
All I know of the matter is our general commanded us to beat the French, and we did so. And if he pleases to say the word, we'll do it again. but pray, sir, how does Sylvia?
Still upon Sylvia? For shame, Captain. You're engaged already, wedded to the war. Victory is your mistress, and it is below a soldier to think of any other.
As a mistress, I confess, but as a friend...
Come, never mince the matter. Would not you debauch my daughter if you could?
How?
Captain, once I was young and once an officer as you are, and I can guess at your thoughts now by what mine were then. And I remember very well that I would have given one of my legs to have deluded the daughter of an old plain country gentleman, as like me as I was then, like you.
But, sir, was that country gentleman your friend and benefactor?
Oh, not much of that.
There the comparison breaks. The favours, sir, that you have done
If I
us...
have done you any service, Captain, 'twas to please myself. And if I could part with my girl, you should have her as soon as any young fellow I know. But she's at her own disposal. She has £1,500 in her pocket. And so... Sylvia.
Father, here is an urgent letter come by the post from London.
And here is a gentleman from Germany.
Captain Plume.
Sylvia?
Captain, you'll excuse me. I'll go read my letter.
Sir, you're welcome to England.
But you're indebted to me a welcome, madam, since the hopes of receiving it from your fair hand was the principal cause of my seeing England.
I have often heard that soldiers were sincere.
Madam, I swear by the honour of my profession that whatever dangers I went upon, it was with the hope of making myself more worthy of your esteem. And if I ever had thoughts of preserving my life, it was for the pleasure of dying at your feet.
Well, you shall die at my feet, or where you will. But you know, sir, there is a certain will and testament to be made beforehand.
My will, madam, is made already, and, here it is. If you please to open that parchment, which was drawn the evening before the Battle of Blenheim, you will find whom I left my heir.
Mistress Sylvia Balance. Well, Captain, this is a handsome and a substantial compliment. But I can assure you I am much better pleased with the bare knowledge of your intention than I should have been in the possession of your legacy.
Madam, my master has received some ill news from London. He desires to speak with you immediately. And he begs the captain's pardon that he can't wait on him as he promised.
Ill news? I'll leave you to comfort him. But be assured that if my life and fortune can be any way serviceable to the father of my Sylvia, he shall freely command both.
The necessity must be very pressing. That would engage me to endanger either.
Scene 5, in which Justice Balance imparts some unwelcome news to his daughter Sylvia.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
We have but little reason to expect it. In his letter, Dr. Kilman acquaints me that he fears I shall soon have no son. Poor Owen. I was pleased with the death of my father because he left me an estate, and now I'm punished for the loss of an heir to inherit mine. Sylvia, the death of your brother makes you sole heiress to my estate, which you know is about £1,200 a year. This fortune gives you a fair claim to quality and a title. You must set a just value upon yourself, and in plain terms, think no more of Captain Plume.
You have often commended the gentleman, sir.
I do so still. He is a very pretty fellow. But though I liked him well enough for a bare son-in-law, I don't approve of him for an heir to my estate and family. £1,500 indeed I might trust in his hands, and it might do the young fellow a kindness, but, odds my life, £1,200 a year would quite turn his brain.
Sir, there's a messenger come with a letter for your worship, but he will deliver it into no hands but your own.
All right, show me the messenger.
If my brother dies, oh, poor brother, and poor sister, 'tis bad both ways. Follow my own inclinations and break my father's heart, or obey his commands and break my own. Worse and worse.
Miss Sylvia.
Sir.
How old were you when your mother died?
So young that I don't remember I ever had one. And you have been so careful, so indulgent to me since, that indeed I never wanted one.
Have I ever denied you anything you asked of me?
Never, that I remember.
Then I must beg this favour. That you would take the coach this moment and go into the country. I will follow later, and then give you my reasons. But before you go, I expect you will make me one solemn promise.
Sir?
That you will never dispose of yourself to any man without my consent.
I promise.
Very well. And to be even with you, I promise I will never dispose of you without your own consent. And so, Sylvia, the coach is ready. Farewell.
Farewell, sir.
And now she's gone, I'll examine the contents of this letter a little nearer. Sir, my intimacy with Mr. Worthy has drawn a secret from him that he had from his friend Captain Plume. Namely, that the captain has dishonourable designs upon my cousin Sylvia. Evils of this nature are more easily prevented than amended, and that you immediately send my cousin into the country is the advice of Sir, your humble servant, Melinda. Why, the devils in the young fellows of this age, they're 10 times worse than they were in my time. Had he made my daughter a whore and forswore it like a gentleman, I could have almost pardoned it. But to tell tales beforehand is monstrous.
Mr. Worthy, sir.
Worthy, your servant.
I'm sorry, sir, to be the messenger of ill news.
I apprehend it, sir. You've heard that my son, Owen, is past recovery.
My advices say he's dead, sir.
Ah. He's happy, and I'm satisfied. The strokes of heaven I can bear, but injuries from men, Mr. Worthy, are not so easily supported.
I hope, sir, you're under no apprehension of wrong from anybody.
You know I ought to be.
You wrong my honour, sir, in believing I could know anything to your prejudice without resenting it as much as you should.
This letter, sir, which I tear in pieces, to conceal the person that sent it, informs me that Plume has a design upon Sylvia, and that you are privy to it.
Nathan, sir, I must do myself justice and endeavour to find out the author. Sir, I recognise the hand, and if you refuse to reveal the contents, Melinda shall tell me.
Hold, sir, the contents I have told you already, only with this circumstance, that her intimacy with you had drawn the secret from him.
Her intimacy with me? Dear sir, the aspersion was nothing but malice, the effect of a quarrel between her and Sylvia.
You sure of that, sir?
Her maid gave me the history of the quarrel just now, as she overheard it.
Yes, 'tis probable. I'm satisfied.
But I hope, sir, your daughter has suffered nothing upon the account.
No, no, poor girl. She's so afflicted with the news of her brother's death that to avoid company she begged leave to be gone into the country. The coach went from the door the minute before you came.
I find her fortune will give her the same airs with Melinda, and then Plume and I may laugh at one another.
Like enough. But come, where is this young fellow? I love him so well it would break my heart to think him a rascal. Where does the captain quarter?
At Horton's. I'm to meet him there 2 hours hence, and we should be glad of your company.
Your pardon, dear Worthy. I must allow a day or two to the death of my son. The decorum of mourning is what we owe the world. Afterwards, I'm yours over a bottle or how you will.
Scene 6, in which Captain Plume and Mr. Worthy bemoan the injustice of fate, and in which Captain Plume buys some chickens.
I can't forbear admiring the equality of our two fortunes, Plume. We loved two ladies, and just as we were upon the point of leaping into their arms, fortune drops into their laps. Pride possesses their hearts. They kick up their heels, and away they run.
And leave us here to mourn.
Oh.
What shall we do?
I have a trick for mine. The letter and the fortune teller.
And I have a trick for mine.
What is't?
I'll never think of her again.
No?
No. The generous, good-natured Sylvia in her smock I admire, but the haughty, scornful Sylvia with her fortune I despise. What? Sneak out of town and not so much as a word, a line, a compliment? Death!
Captain, sir, look yonder. The prettiest, cleanest little tit coming this way.
So she is. And what is that great country fellow with her?
I can't tell, sir, but I'll engage him presently. You there, young gentleman.
I must shift for myself. Captain, farewell.
Farewell.
Chickens, young and tender chickens.
Come hither, pretty maid.
Will you please to buy, sir?
Yes, child, I'll buy all you have. Let me see. Young and tender, you say?
As ever you tasted in your life, sir.
Come, I must examine your basket to the bottom, my dear.
Nay, but in your hand. Feel, sir. I warrant my ware is as good as any in the market.
Pray, what's your name, pretty creature?
Rose, sir. My father is a farmer. We keep this market. I sell chickens, eggs and butter, and my brother Bullock there, talking to your sergeant, he sells corn.
Pretty Mistress Rose. You have how many chickens?
A dozen, sir. And for a crown piece, the bargain's yours.
Here's a guinea, my dear.
I can't change your money, sir.
Indeed, but you can. My lodging is close by, and we'll make change there.
And so, young sir, I have seen one of these hussars eat up a ravelin for his breakfast and afterwards pick his teeth with a palisado.
Oh, you soldiers see very strange things. But pray, sir. Eh? Where's Rose? Slash. Where's Rose gone?
She's gone with the captain.
The captain? What? There's no pressing of women, sure.
But there is, sir.
If the captain should press Rose, I should be ruined. Which way went she? Rose? Rose?
Sergeant, you are the most useful fellow in nature to your captain. Admirable in your way, I find.
Yes, sir, I understand my business, I will say it. You must know, Mr. Worthy, I was born a gypsy and bred among that crew till I was 10 years old. There I learned canting and lying. I was bought from my mother by a certain nobleman who made me his page. There I learned impudence and pimping. I was turned off for wearing my lord's linen and drinking my lady's wine, and then turned bailiff's follower. There I learned bullying and swearing. I at last got into the army, and there I learned whoring and drinking. So that if your worship pleases to cast up the whole sum, viz. Canting, lying, impudence, pimping, bullying, swearing, whoring, drinking, and a halberd, you will find the sum total will amount to a recruiting sergeant.
And pray, what induced you to turn soldier?
Hunger and ambition.
You, Sergeant.
No, but here comes Justice Balance.
Here's a poor foolish fellow comes clamouring with a complaint that your Captain Plume has pressed his sister. Do you know anything of this matter, Worthy?
I know his sister has gone with Plume to his lodgings to sell him some chickens.
Is that all? The fellow's a fool.
Has there no more sense, fellow, than to believe that the captain can list women?
I know not whether they list them, but I'm sure they carry as many women as men with them out of the country.
Sergeant, go along with this fellow to your captain and desire him to discharge the wench.
Aye, and if he be not free for that, he shall have another man in her place.
Come, honest friend. You shall go to my quarters instead of the captain's.
Worthy, we must get this mad captain his complement of men and send him a packing, else he'll overrun the country.
You see, sir, how little he values your daughter's disdain.
I like him the better. I was much such another fellow at his age. But how goes your affair with Melinda?
Very slowly. My mistress has got a recruiting captain too, but such a captain.
Mr. Worthy!
As I live, yonder he comes.
Who? That bluff fellow there? I don't know him.
But I engage he knows you, and everybody at first sight. He has the most universal acquaintance of any man living.
Mr. Worthy, I'm your servant and so forth. Harkee, my dear.
Whispering, sir, before company is not manners.
Mortimer V, I beg the gentleman's pardon, my dear, your servant and so forth. Your name, my dear?
Very, laconic, sir.
Laconic, a very good name, truly. I have known several of the laconics abroad.
Noble captain, may I crave your name?
Brazen, at your service.
Oh, Brazen, a very good name.
Do you know Captain Plume, sir?
Is he anything related to Frank Plume in Northamptonshire? Honest Frank? Many a dry bottle have we cracked hand to fist. Ooh, but, gentlemen, I must meet a lady presently upon the walk by the water. A 20,000-pounder. Worthy, your servant. Laconic, yours.
If you can have so mean an opinion of Melinda as to be jealous of this fellow, I think she ought to give you cause to be so.
Were there any credit to be given to his word, I should believe Melinda had made this assignation. I must go see. Sir, you'll pardon me.
Aye, sir. But what have we here?
Sir, begging your worship's pardon, pray, what may this lace be worth a yard?
It's very fine lace. Where did you get this, child?
I come honestly by it.
I question that much.
And see here, sir, a fine turkey shell snuff box. The captain learnt me how to take the snuff with an air and give it with an air too. Will your worship please to taste my snuff?
You're a very apt scholar, pretty maid. And, pray, what did you give the captain for these fine things?
He's to have my brother for a soldier and 2 or 3 sweethearts that I have in the country. They shall all go with the captain. Oh, he's the finest man. Would you believe, sir, he carried me up with him to his own chamber with as much familiarity as if I had been the best lady in the land.
Oh, he's a mighty familiar gentleman as can be.
Oh, Rose, my maid with the milking pail.
Captain Plume.
How? The justice? Then I'm arraigned, condemned, and executed. Mr. Balance!
My noble captain.
And my noble captain too, sir.
Stay, child, are you mad? Mr. Balance, I am so full of business about my recruits that I had a moment's...
Nay, captain, I must speak to
And so
you.
must I too, captain.
I would, but now, sir, pray, devil take me, I cannot.
Nay, I'll follow you.
And I'll too. I'll too.
Scene 7, in which Melinda and her maid Lucy take the evening air beside the river.
And pray, Lucy, in what shape was the almighty gold transformed that has bribed you so much in Mr. Worthy's favour?
Madam, you talk as peevishly as if it were my fault. Though Mr. Worthy should not see you this week, can I help it? His friend Captain Plume has so taken him up these 2 days.
Pshaw! Would his friend were tied upon his back. I warrant he has never been sober since that confounded captain came to town.
One would imagine, madam, by your concern for Worthy's absence, that you should use him better when he's with you.
Who told you, pray, that I was concerned for his absence?
Aha! Ladies!
Oh, here comes Brazen, another captain, and a rogue that has the confidence to make love to me.
Split me, madam. In all the campaigns I ever made, I have not seen so fine a woman as your ladyship.
And from all the men I ever saw, I never had so fine a compliment. But you soldiers are the best-bred men, that we must allow.
Some of us, madam, but there are brutes among us too. For my own part, I have always had the good luck to prove agreeable. I have had very considerable offers, madam. I might have married a German princess worth 50,000 crowns a year, but her stove disgusted me.
Oh.
Fate has reserved me for a Shropshire lady with £20,000. Do you know any such person, madam?
Extravagant coxcomb.
Madam.
Oh, Mr. Worthy, are you here? Come, Captain Brazen, give me your hand. We'll walk this way.
My hand, heart, blood, and guts are at your service. Mr. Worthy, your servant, my dear. A fine river, this same Severn. Do you love fishing, madam?
Death and fire, this is not to be borne.
No more it is, faith.
What?
The beer at the Raven. Ah.
You ain't drunk, Plume.
No, whimsical only. Reason still keeps its throne, but it nods a little, that's all.
Then if you're fit for a frolic, recover me that vessel from Captain Brazen that I told you of today. She is called the Melinda. She sheered off with him just now on purpose to affront me. But have a care of a quarrel.
I never quarrel with anything in my cups but an oyster wench or a cook maid, and if they beat civil, I knock 'em down.
Here they come again. I must leave you.
Oh, so now must I look as sober and demure as a whore at a christening.
Who's that, madam?
A brother officer of yours, I suppose, sir.
Your name, my dear? If I be not mistaken, I have seen your face.
I've never seen yours in my life, my dear.
Have you ever served abroad?
I have served at home, sir. For ages served this cruel fare.
What?
And that will serve the turn, sir.
Oh, I see Worthy yonder. I could be content to be friends with him. Would he come this way?
Will you fight for the lady, sir?
No, sir. But I'll have her notwithstanding.
Oh, sir, not fight for her. Come, madam, we'll place you between us.
Oh!
And now, the longest sword carries her.
Oh!
Madam, you called?
Oh, Mr. Worthy, save me from these madmen!
I fear I am otherwise engaged, madam.
Mr. Worthy? Mr. Worthy!
Why don't you follow, sir, and fight the bold ravisher?
No, sir, you're my man.
I don't like the wages, and I won't be your man.
Then you're not worth my sword.
No? Pray, what did it cost?
It cost me 20 pistoles in France, and my enemies thousands of lives in Flanders.
And then they had a dear bargain. But who comes here?
So now I have cast off Sylvia, and in my disguise must play the man as Jack Wilful. Save ye, gentlemen.
My dear, I'm yours.
Do you know this gentleman?
No, but I will presently. Your name, my dear?
Wilful. Jack Wilful, at your service.
What? The Kentish Wilfuls or those of Staffordshire?
Both, sir, both. I'm related to all the Wilfuls in Europe, and I'm head of the family at present.
Do you live in this country, sir?
Yes, sir. I live where I stand. I have neither home, house, nor habitation beyond this spot of ground.
What are you, sir?
A rake.
In the army, I presume?
No, but intend to list immediately. Look ye, gentlemen, there is one Plume that I hear much commended in town. Pray, which of you is he?
I am Captain Plume.
No, I'm Captain Plume. Your servant, my dear. There's 40 shillings for you to list with me.
Friend, you shall not list with Captain Brazen.
I will see Captain Brazen hanged first. No, I will list with Captain Plume here, if he'll stand by me.
I warrant you, my lad.
You impudent, pretending coxcomb.
Hold! Did you not refuse to fight for the lady?
I always do. But for a man, I'll fight knee-deep, so you lie again.
Then have at you, sir.
Sir, have a... You!
Here's a pretty dispute. But I fancy my Captain Plume will see him off.
You're Captain Plume.
Aye, sir. I'm his sergeant.
You are Sergeant Kite.
At your service, sir. Or shall I bespeak you for a comrade?
No, sir. I'll be your captain's comrade, if anybody's.
Ambition. I see a commission in his face already. Pray, noble captain, give me leave to salute you with a kiss.
What? Men kiss one another?
We officers do. 'Tis our way. We live together like man and wife, always either kissing or fighting. But I see a storm a-coming. Come, young captain, come away.
Lead the way, Sergeant.
Hold! Where's the man?
Gone.
And what do we fight for?
Indeed.
Oh, let's embrace, my dear.
With all my heart, my dear.
Oh, you're a brave fellow. I always fight with a man before I make him my friend. And now I'll tell you a secret. That lady we frighted out of the walk just now, I believe I shall marry her. Her £20,000, you know, will be a pretty conveniency. I had an assignation with her here, but your coming spoiled my sport, curse you, my dear. But don't do so again.
No, no, my dear. Men are my business at present.
Scene 8, in which Rose is reunited with her brother and becomes the bedfellow of a certain Jack Wilful.
Rose? Sister!
Where have you been, you great booby? You're always out the way in the time of preferment.
Preferment? Who should prefer me?
I would prefer you. Come, hold up your head and look big.
Ah, Rose. I fear somebody will look big sooner than folk think of. Here has been Cartwheel, your sweetheart. What will become of him?
Looky, I told the captain how finely he played upon the tabor and pipe, so he has set him down for drum major.
Nay, sister. Why do you not keep that place for me? You know I always love to be a drumming, if 'twere but on a table or a quart pot.
Had I but a commission in my pocket, I fancy these breeches of mine would become me as well as any ranting fellow of them all. What's here? Rose, my nurse's daughter. I'll go and practice. Come, child. Kiss me at once. And her brother, too. Well, honest dung fork, do you know the difference between a horse cart and a cart horse, eh?
I presume that your worship is a captain, by your clothes and your courage.
Suppose I were. Would you be contented to list?
No, no. Though your worship be a handsome man, there be others as fine as you. My brother is engaged to Captain Plume.
You know Captain Plume?
Yes, I do. And he knows me.
And pray, what do you expect from this captain, child?
I expect, sir. He ordered me to tell nobody, but suppose that he should promise to marry me.
You should have a care, my dear. Men will promise anything beforehand.
I know that, but he promised to marry me afterwards.
Rose, what have you said?
Afterwards? After what?
After I'd sold him my chickens. I hope there's no harm in that.
What? Mr. Wilful? So close with my market woman?
I'll try if he loves her. Come, my pretty maid. You and I will withdraw a little.
No, friend. I ain't done with her yet.
Nor have I begun with her, so I have as good a right as you. So let her go.
Pray, gentlemen, don't be so violent.
Come, leave it to the girl's own choice. Rose, will you belong to me or to that gentleman?
Well?
Pray, sir, what will you give me?
I'll set thee above scandal. You shall have a coach with 6 before and 6 behind, and an equipage to make vice fashionable and put virtue out of countenance.
I'll do more for thee, child. I'll buy you a furbelow scarf and give you a ticket to see a play.
A play? Wands, Rose, take the ticket and let's see the show.
Looky, Captain, if you won't resign her, I'll go list with Captain Brazen this minute.
Take her. I'll change a woman for a man at any time. This gentleman, Rose, is one of us and will be kind to you.
But will you be so kind to me, sir, as the captain would?
I can't be altogether so kind to you, but I'll take care of you, upon my word.
Aye. We'll all take care of her. She shall live like a princess, and her brother here shall be... What would you be?
Ah, sir, if you had not promised the place of drum major...
Aye, that is promised. But what think ye of barrack master?
Barrack master.
You're a person of understanding, and barrack master you shall be. But what's become of this same cartwheel you told me of, my dear?
We'll go fetch him. Come, brother barrack master.
And now, sir, here are your 40 shillings.
Captain Plume, I despise your listing money. If I do serve, 'tis purely for love.
Love?
Of that wench, I mean. For you must know that I have spent the best part of my fortune in search of a maid, and could never find one hitherto. So before I list, I must be certified that this girl is a virgin.
Mr. Wilful, I can't tell how you can be certified in that point till you try. But, upon my honour, she may be a vestal for aught that I know to the contrary. I have already gained my ends, which were only the drawing in 1 or 2 of her followers. Women, you know, are the lodestones everywhere. Kiss the prettiest country wenches, and you're sure of listing the lustiest fellows. Besides, the fatigue of recruiting is so intolerable that unless we could make ourselves some pleasure amidst the pain, no mortal man would be able to bear it.
Well, sir, I'm satisfied. But now, let me beg you to lay aside your recruiting airs and tell me plainly what usage I must expect when I'm under your command.
I find something so agreeable about you, I should be uneasy to see you under the command of anybody else. Your usage will chiefly depend upon your behaviour. Only this you must expect. If you commit a small fault, I will excuse it. If a great one, I'll discharge you. For something tells me I shall not be able to punish you.
And something tells me that if you do discharge me, it will be the greatest punishment you can inflict. And now your hand. This lists me, and now you are my captain.
Your friend. Steph, there's something in this fellow that charms me.
One favour I must beg. This affair will make some noise, and I have some friends that would censure my conduct if I threw myself into the circumstance of a private sentinel of my own head. I must therefore take care to be impressed by the Act of Parliament. You shall leave that to me.
What you please as to that. Will you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? You shall have part of my bed.
Oh, fie! Lie with a common soldier? Would not you rather lie with a common woman?
Faith, I'm not that rake that the world imagines. I have got an air of freedom, which people mistake for lewdness in me, as they mistake formality in others for religion. The world is all a cheat. Only I take mine, which is undesigned, to be more excusable than theirs, which is hypocritical. I hurt nobody but myself, and they abuse all mankind. Will you lie with me?
No. No, Captain. You forget Rose. She's to be my bedfellow, you know.
I had forgot. Pray, be kind to her.
Scene 9, in which Melinda makes an embarrassing confession.
Oh, Lucy, I can hold my secret no longer. You must know that hearing of the famous fortune teller in town...
Dr. Conundrum.
The very same. Hearing of his presence, I went disguised to satisfy a curiosity which has cost me dear. That Conundrum is certainly the devil. He has told me the most surprising things of my past life.
Things past, madam, can hardly be reckoned surprising, because we know them already. Did he tell you anything surprising that was to come?
He said I should die a maid.
Die a maid? Come into the world for nothing?
Oh.
But did you ask him any questions about me?
You? Why, I passed for you.
So 'tis I that am to die a maid. But the devil was a liar. He can't make me die a maid. I have put it out of his power already.
I do but jest. I would have passed for you and called myself Lucy, but he presently told me my name, my quality, my fortune, and gave me the whole history of my life. He told me of a lover I had in this country and described Worthy exactly, but in nothing so well as in his present indifference. I fled to him for refuge here today. He coldly told me that he was sorry for the accident, made a careless bow, and walked off. 'Sdeath, I could have stabbed him, or myself. Yonder he comes.
Don't exasperate him. Consider what the fortune teller told you. Men are scarce, and as times go, it is not impossible for a woman to die a maid.
No matter.
I find she's warmed. I must strike while the iron is hot. You have a great deal of courage, madam, to venture into the walks where you were so late frighted.
And you have a quantity of impudence to appear before me that you have so lately affronted.
I had no design to affront you, nor appear before you either, madam. I left you here because I had business in another place. I came hither thinking to meet another person.
Since you find yourself disappointed, I hope you'll withdraw to another part of the walk.
The walk is broad enough for us both.
What? Oh, here before me, my dear.
What means this insolence? Unhand me, sir.
Captain Brazen, are you mad? Don't you see, Mr. Worthy?
No, I'm struck blind. Madam, I ask your pardon. 'Tis our way abroad. Mr. Worthy, you're the happy man.
I don't envy your happiness very much if the lady can afford no other sort of favours but what she has bestowed upon you.
I'm sorry the favour miscarried, for it was designed for you, Mr. Worthy. And be assured 'tis the last and only favour you must expect at my hands. Captain, I ask your pardon.
I grant it, and will walk with you.
A battle royal, I see.
Plume, she's lost. Irrecoverably lost. And your advice has ruined me.
No, don't frown so, man. She's your own, I tell ye. I saw the fury of her love in the extremity of her passion. The wildness of her anger is a certain sign that she loves you to madness.
But what could be the meaning of Brazen's familiarity with her?
You are no logician if you pretend to draw consequences from the actions of fools. Kite will bring you off victorious, my life on't. He plays his part admirably. She's to be with him again presently, so come, let's away.
Scene 10, in which Sergeant Kite, disguised as the fortune-telling Dr. Conundrum, endeavours to enhance the fortunes of himself, Captain Plume, and his friend, Mr. Worthy.
By the position of the heavens, gained from my observation upon the celestial globes, I find that Luna was a tide waiter, Sol a surveyor, Mercury a thief, Venus a whore, Saturn an alderman, Jupiter a rake, and Mars a sergeant of grenadiers. And this is the system of Kite the Conjurer.
Oh, 'tis well, Kite. But what success?
I've sent away a shoemaker and a tailor already. One's to be a captain of Marines, and the other a major of Dragoons. Have you seen the lady, Mr. Worthy?
Aye, but it won't do. Have you showed her her name that I tore off from the bottom of the letter?
No, sir. I reserved that for the last stroke.
What letter?
One that I would not let you see for fear of your anger.
Officers, hide yourselves. In the cupboard there. What? My old friend Pluck the Butcher. I offered the surly bulldog 5 guineas this morning and he refused it.
So, Master Conjurer, here's half a crown. And now you must understand...
Old friend, and give me your hand. You are by trade either a butcher or a surgeon.
True, I am a butcher.
And a surgeon you will be. The employments differ only in the name.
What do you mean, Doctor?
Patience, Mr. Surgeon General. The stars are great bodies and move slowly.
But what do you mean by Surgeon General?
Nay, sir, if your worship won't have patience, I must beg the favour of your worship's absence.
My worship? But why my worship?
Fire and fury! Do you think the stars will be hurried? Sir, I am porter to the stars, and I am ordered to let no fool come near their doors.
Dear Doctor, I never had any dealings with the stars, but please to accept of this half-crown to drink their healths, and don't be angry.
Let me see your hands then once more. Here has been gold 5 guineas, my friend, in this very hand this morning, offered you by a proper handsome man called Hawk, or Buzzard, or...
Kite, you mean?
Aye, Kite.
The impudent rascal would have decoyed me for a soldier.
A man of your substance for a soldier? Your mother has £100 in hard money not 40 yards from this place.
Horns, and so she has, but very few know so much.
I know it. And that rogue, what's his name, Kite, knew it, and offered you 5 guineas to list because he knew your poor mother would give 100 for your discharge.
Horns, Doctor, I'll give you t'other half-crown and tell me that this same Kite will be hanged.
He's in as much danger as any man in the county.
There's your fee. But, you've forgot the Surgeon General all this while.
Let me see. Did you never cut off a man's leg?
No.
That's strange. Wonderful strange. The second or third, the third campaign that you make in Flanders. The leg of a great officer will be shattered by a great shot. You will be there, and with your cleaver chop off the limb at a blow. In short, the operation will be performed with so much dexterity that with general applause you will be made Surgeon General of the whole army.
Nay, for the cutting off of a limb, I'll do it. I'll do it with any surgeon in Europe. But I've no thoughts of making a campaign.
What matter for your thoughts? The stars decree it, and you must go.
Oh, sir.
Only mind this. You will know more an hour and a half hence. That's all, farewell.
Hold, Doctor. Surgeon General. What's that worth, pray?
500 £500 a year.
£500? An hour and a half hence, you say?
In short, you will be standing in your stall an hour and a half hence, and a gentleman will come by with a snuff-box in his hand and the tip of his handkerchief hanging out of his right pocket. He'll ask you the price of a loin of veal, and at the same time stroke your great dog upon the head and call him Chopper.
Mercy upon us. Chopper is the dog's name.
Things that are to come must come to pass. Get you home, sell off your stock, and follow the gentleman. His name begins with a P. Mind that.
The tip of his handkerchief out of his left pocket.
No, his right pocket.
I'll mind you. I'll mind you.
The right pocket, you say, Kate?
The right. Oh, I hear the rustling of silks. Fly, sir, 'tis Madame Melinda.
Take your chairs for the ladies.
Don't trouble yourself, Doctor. We shan't stay.
Your ladyship is to stay much longer than you imagine.
For what?
For a husband.
Pray, Doctor, do you converse with the stars or with the devil?
With both. When I have the destinies of men in search, I consult the stars. When the affairs of women come under my hand, I advise with my other friend.
And have you raised the devil upon my account?
Yes, madam, and he's now in that cupboard there.
Oh! Heavens protect us! Dear madam, let us be gone!
If you be afraid of him, why do you come to consult him?
Don't fear, fool. Do you think, sir, that because I'm a woman, I'm to be fooled out of my reason or frighted out of my senses? Come, show me this devil.
He's a little busy at present, but when he has done, he shall wait on you.
What is he doing?
Writing your name in his pocketbook.
My name. And pray, what have you or he to do with my name?
Look, fair lady, you come to me to have your fortune told. Do you think I can answer you off my own head? No, madam. The affairs of women are so irregular that nothing less than the devil can give any account of them. Here, you cacademo del plumo, exert your power. Draw me this lady's name, the word Melinda, in the proper letters and character of her own handwriting. 1, 2, 3. That is done. Now, madam, will you please send your maid to fetch it?
I fetch it? The devil fetch me if I do.
Then I must.
My name? In my own handwriting? That would be convincing indeed.
Seeing is believing. There's your name upon that square piece of paper, behold.
Tis wonderful. My very letters to a tittle. 'Tis like your hand, madam, but not so like your hand neither. Come, let's be certain. Write your name upon this paper, then we'll compare the two names.
Anything for your satisfaction, madam. Here's pen and ink.
Oh, let me see it, madam. 'Tis the very same. But I'll secure one copy for my own affairs.
Well, Doctor, I'm convinced. And now, pray, what account can you give me of my future fortune?
Before the sun has made one course around this earthly globe, your fortune will be fixed for happiness or misery.
What?
About the hour of 10 tomorrow morning, you will be saluted by a gentleman who will come to take his leave of you, being designed for travel. If the gentleman travels, he will die abroad. And if he does, you will die before he comes home.
Here, Doctor.
Thank you.
Lucy, have you any questions to ask?
Oh, madam, 1,000.
I must beg your patience till another time, for I expect more company this minute. Besides, I must discharge the gentleman in the cupboard.
Oh, pray, sir, discharge us first.
Puss!
Take her wait on the ladies upstairs.
Mr. Worthy, you were pleased to wish me joy today. I hope to be able to return the compliment tomorrow.
I'll make it the best compliment to you that ever I made in my life, if you do. But I must be a traveller, you say?
No farther than the Channel. But now to your posts again. Here's Brazen.
Your servant, my dear. Are you the magician?
Yes, my dear.
What's your name?
Conundrum.
Conundrum. Rat me, I know a famous doctor in London of your name. But to business, my dear. I've had 2 letters from a lady of fortune that loves me to madness. Fits, colics, spleen, and vapours. Shall I marry her in 24 hours, aye or no?
I must have the year and day of the month when these letters were dated.
Why, you old bitch, did you ever hear of love letters dated with the year and day of the month? Do you think billets doux are like back bills?
Then give me the last letter you received. I must examine the contents.
Contents? That you shall, old boy, yeah.
Now, sir, if you please to let me consult my books, I'll send this letter enclosed to you with the determination of the stars upon it to your lodgings.
With all my heart, Doctor. Here.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I succeed, I'll build a watchtower upon the highest mountain in Wales for the study of astrology and the benefit of conundrums.
Doctor, that letter's worth $1 million. Let me see it. And now I have it, I'm afraid to open it.
Oh, let me see it. Damn. There's her name at the bottom on't.
No. By all my hopes, 'tis her maid's hand. Lucy's.
Lucy's?
Certainly.
Then 'tis certainly Lucy's contrivance to draw in Brazen for her husband. But are you sure 'tis not Melinda's hand?
You shall see. Where's the bit of paper I gave you just now that the devil writ Melinda upon?
Here, sir.
'Tis plain. They're not the same. And is this the name that was subscribed to the letter which made Mr. Balance send his daughter into the country?
The very same.
But 'twas barbarous to conceal this so long. Poor Sylvia.
Rich Sylvia, you mean, and poor Captain. Oh, come, friend. Melinda is true and shall be mine. Sylvia is constant and may be yours.
Scene 11, in which, in an antechamber adjoining Sylvia's bedroom, Sylvia, or should we say Jack Wilful, reflects on his first night as a soldier.
I have rested but indifferently, and I believe my bedfellow was as little pleased. Poor Rose. Oh, here she comes. Good morrow, my dear. How do you this morning?
Just as I was last night. Neither better nor worse for you.
What's the matter? Did you not like your bedfellow?
I don't know whether I had a bedfellow or not.
Did not I lie with you?
No. I wonder you could have the conscience to ruin a poor girl for nothing.
I have saved thee from ruin, child. Don't be melancholy. I can give you as many fine things as the captain can.
But you can't, I'm sure.
Odds! My accoutrements. Quick, Rose, my sword, my hat. Who's at the door?
Open the door or we'll break it down!
Patience a little.
We haven't! The duck and the mallard both in the decoy.
What means this riot? Stand off! The man dies that comes within reach of this point.
Master, put up your sword or I shall knock you down.
You are some blockhead of a constable.
I am so, and have a warrant to apprehend the bodies of you and your whore there.
Whore? Never was poor woman so abused.
What's the matter now? Oh, Constable Bridewell. What brings you abroad so early?
Your arrest, sir. Lay hold of him, Martin.
Sir.
You're the Queen's prisoner.
You lie, sir. I'm the Queen's soldier.
No matter for that, you shall go before Justice Balance.
Balance? 'Tis what I wanted. Here, Mr. Constable, I resign my sword.
Can't you carry us before Captain Plume, Mr. Bridewell?
Captain Plume? Ain't you got your belly full of captains yet? Come, Martin, lead them away.
Sir, come on.
Come, Rose.
Come on.
Come on, take care.
Scene 12, in which Justice Balance and fellow Justice of the Peace, Mr. Scruple, come face to face with the notorious rake, Jack Wilful.
May it please your worships, here are your prisoners. Bullock, his sister, and this gentleman, Mr. Jack Wilful, which we took in the very act. The gentleman indeed behaved himself like a gentleman, for he drew his sword and swore, and afterwards laid it down and said nothing.
Give the gentleman his sword again and wait you without.
Yes, sir. Your sword, sir.
Thank you, Constable.
Come, Martin, you heard his worship. We must wait without.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Wilful, to know a gentleman upon such terms that the occasion of our meeting should prevent the satisfaction of an acquaintance.
Sir, you need make no apology for your warrant, no more than I shall do for my behaviour. My innocence is upon an equal foot with your authority.
Innocence? Have you not seduced that young maid?
No, she seduced me.
So she did, I'll swear, for she proposed marriage first.
What? Then you're married, child?
Yes, sir. To my sorrow.
Who was the minister?
Minister? We are soldiers, and want no ministers. They were married by articles of war.
Oh, hold thy prating, fool. And pray, sir, what brought you into Shropshire?
I knew you country gentlemen want wit, and you know that we town gentlemen want money, and so...
I understand you, sir. Here, Constable.
Sir.
Take this gentleman into custody till further orders.
Oh, pray your worship don't be uncivil to him, for he did me no hurt. He's the most harmless man in the world, for all he talks so.
Come, child. I'll take care of you.
What, gentlemen? Rob me of my freedom and my wife at once? 'Tis the first time they ever went together.
Come along, sir.
Scene 13, in which Melinda is delighted to discover how accurate are the prophecies of the master conjurer, Dr. Conundrum.
So far the prediction is right. 'Tis 10 exactly. And pray, Mr. Worthy, how long have you been in this travelling humour?
'Tis natural, madam, for us to avoid what disturbs our quiet. What pleasures I may receive abroad are uncertain. But this I am sure of, I shall meet with less cruelty among the most barbarous nations than I have found at home.
Come, sir. You and I have been jangling a great while. I fancy if we made up our accounts, we should the sooner come to an agreement.
Sure, madam, you won't dispute your being in my debt. My fears, sighs, promises, anxieties, jealousies have run on for a whole year without any payment.
A year? Oh, Mr. Worthy, what you owe to me is not to be paid under a 7 years' servitude. How did you use me the year before, when, taking the advantage of my innocence and necessity, you would have made me your mistress, that is, your slave? Remember, Mr. Worthy?
You may remember, madam,
Sir,
that...
I'll remember nothing. You have been barbarous to me. I have been cruel to you. Put that and that together, and let one balance the other. Now, if you will begin upon a new score, lay aside your adventuring airs and behave yourself handsomely. Here's my hand. I'll use you as a gentleman should be.
And if I don't use you as a gentlewoman should be, may this be my poison.
Madam, the coach is at the door.
I'm going to Mr. Balance's country house to see my cousin Sylvia. I have done her an injury and can't be easy till I have asked her pardon.
I dare not hope for the honour of waiting on you.
My coach is full, but if you will be so gallant as to mount your own horses and follow us, we shall be glad to be overtaken. And if you bring Captain Plume with you, we shan't have the worst reception.
I'll endeavour it.
Scene 14, in which Captain Plume and Sergeant Kite list their latest recruits, and Captain Brazen reveals he's about to be married.
A baker, a tailor, a smith, and a butcher. I believe the first colony planted at Virginia had not more trades in their company than I have in mine.
The butcher, sir, will have his hands full, for we have 2 sheep stealers among us. Here's Captain Brazen, and in haste. I must go look after the men.
My dear Plume, give me a bus.
Half a score, if you will, my dear. Where to in such haste?
To be married.
Married?
To Melinda. We're to meet about half a mile out of town at the waterside and so forth. Harky, she writes, for fear I should be known by any of Worthy's friends, you must give me leave to wear my mask till after the ceremony, which will make me ever yours. Looky there, her hand on it.
Melinda? And by this light, her own hand. Her hand exactly. Just now, you say?
This minute. I must be gone.
Have a little patience and I'll go with you.
No. I see Worthy coming this way, so take my leave.
To boot and saddle. Captain, you must mount.
Whip and spur, Worthy, or you won't mount.
But I shall. Melinda and I are agreed. She's gone to visit Sylvia. We are to mount and follow. If we could carry a parson with us, who knows what might be done for us both.
Don't trouble your head. Melinda has secured a parson already.
Oh, already?
I saw it under her hand. Brazen and she are to meet half a mile hence at the waterside. There, I suppose, to be ferried over to the Elysian fields, if there be any such thing in matrimony.
I parted with Melinda just now. She assured me she hated Brazen, and that she resolved to discard Lucy for daring to write letters to him in her name.
Nay, there's nothing of Lucy in this. I tell ye, I saw Melinda's hand.
But she's gone this minute to Justice Balance's country house.
No, I tell you, she's gone this minute to the waterside.
Mr. Worthy, your pardon, sir.
Jack.
Madam Melinda has sent word that you need not trouble yourself to follow her, because her journey to Justice Balance's is put off, and she's gone to take the air another way.
How? Her journey put off?
That is, her journey was a put-off to you.
'Tis plain. But how? Where? When is she to meet Brazen?
Just now, I tell you. Half a mile hence at the waterside.
Jack, fetch my horses and my pistols.
Yes, sir. Shall I go with you?
Not an inch. I shall return presently.
You'll find me at the hall. The justices are sitting by this time, and I must attend them.
Scene 50, in which the good justices Balance, Scale and Scruple mete out fair and deserved punishment.
Order in the court.
Ah, Captain Plume.
Have I come too late?
No, sir, you're welcome.
Come, honest captain. Sit by me.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Constable, produce your prisoners. That fellow there, set him up first.
Right, you. Come along. That's it. Set up. Let's stop there. That's it.
Mr. Constable, what have you to say against this man?
I have nothing to say against him, and it please you.
No? What made you bring him hither?
Well, I don't know, and it please your worship.
Did not the contents of your warrant direct you what sort of men to take up?
I can't tell, and it please you. I can't read.
A very pretty constable, truly. I find we have no business here.
Discharge him. Discharge him.
Off you go.
Here, you constable. The next.
Bring in my man. Now, Captain, I'll fit you with a man such as you ne'er listed before.
Jack Wilful, let's be having you now.
My friend Wilful, I'm very glad to see you.
Well, sir, and what then?
What then? Is that your respect to the bench?
Sir, I don't care a farthing for you, nor for your bench neither.
May it please your worships, I have a woman at the door to swear a rape against this rogue.
Is it your wife or daughter, booby? I ravished them both yesterday.
Pray, Captain, read the Articles of War. We'll see him listed immediately.
Worship. Articles of War against mutiny and desertion.
Hold, sir. Once more, gentlemen, have a care what you do, for you shall severely smart for any violence you offer to me. And you, Mr. Balance, I speak to you particularly. You shall heartily repent it. I'm descended of as good a family as any in your county. My father is as good a man as any upon your bench. And I am heir to £1,200 a year.
He's certainly mad. Pray, Captain, read the Articles of War.
Articles
Hold
of War.
once more. Mr. Balance, to you I speak. Suppose I were your child. Would you use me at this rate?
No, faith. Were you mine, I would send you to Bedlam first and into the army afterwards.
But consider my father, sir. He's as good, as generous, as brave, as just a man as ever served his country. I'm his only child. Perhaps the loss of me may break his heart.
He's a very great fool if it does. Captain, let me beg the favour of you not to discharge this fellow upon any account whatsoever.
As you will, your worship.
Constable, bring in the rest.
There are no more, and it please your worship.
No more?
No.
There were 5 2 hours ago.
'Tis true, sir, but this rogue of a constable let the rest escape for a bribe of 11 shillings a man, because he said that the law allows him but 10, so the odd shilling was clear gains. Gentlemen, he offered to let me get away for 2 guineas, but I had not so much about me. This is the truth, and I'm ready to swear it.
It is my opinion that this constable be put into Captain Plume's hands, and if his friends don't bring 4 good men for his ransom by tomorrow night, Captain, you shall carry him to Flanders.
Mr. Kite, take the constable into custody.
Aye, sir. Come, constable.
Come, gentlemen, there needs no great ceremony in adjourning this court. Captain Plume, you shall dine with me.
Scene 16, in which Captain Brazen escapes a fate worse than death.
The boat is just below here, madam. Mind your footing.
Your hand to help, sir, for this mask obscures my sight somewhat.
Hold, Brazen!
Mr. Worthy!
Captain, I have pistols here. Take your choice.
What? Are they charged, my dear?
With a brace of bullets each.
But I'm a foot officer, my dear, and never use pistols. The sword is my way, and I won't be put out of my road to please any man.
Nor I neither, so have at you.
Why then, fire and fury! I have eaten smoke from the mouth of a cannon, sir. Don't think I fear powder, for I live upon't. I'll take this pistol here. And now, sir, how many paces distant shall we fire?
Fire when you please. I'll reserve my shot till I be sure of you.
Come, where's your cloak?
Cloak? What do you mean?
To fight upon. I always fight upon a cloak. 'Tis our way abroad.
Abroad?
Come! Gentlemen! I'll end the strife.
Odds me life.
Behind the mask, 'tis...
Lucy!
Oh, take her.
The devil take me if I do. Huzzah! You hear, you plaguey harridan, how those bullets whistle. Suppose they had been lodged in my gizzard now.
Oh, pray, sir, pardon me.
Yes, I do pardon you. But if I had you in a tavern with 3 or 4 hearty rakes and 3 or 4 smart napkins, I would tell you another story, my dear. Your pistol, sir. And you.
And was Melinda privy to this, Lucy?
No, sir. She wrote her name upon a piece of paper at the fortune-teller's last night, which I put in my pocket and sewed it above it to the captain.
And how came Melinda's journey put off?
At the town's end, she met Mr. Balance's steward, who told her that Mistress Sylvia was gone from her father's and nobody could tell whither.
Sylvia gone from her father's? This'll be news to Plume. Go home, Lucy, and tell your lady how near I was being shot for her.
Scene 17, in which all is resolved to everyone's satisfaction.
We did not miss your daughter till this evening, sir. And then, searching for her in the chamber that was my young master's, we found her clothes there. But the suit that your son left in the press when he went to London was gone.
You haven't told that circumstance to anybody?
To none but your worship.
Be sure you don't. Now go into the dining room and tell Captain Plume that I beg to speak with him.
I shall.
Jack Wilful. Was ever man so imposed upon? I had a promise indeed that she should never dispose of herself without my consent, and I have consented with a witness. I shall never pardon Plume the villainy, first robbing me of my daughter, and then the mean opinion you must have of me to think that I could be so wretchedly imposed upon. Her extravagant passion might encourage her in the attempt, but the contrivance must be his. I'll know the truth presently.
Your worship.
Captain Plume, close the door, will you? What have you done with your young gentleman soldier?
He's at my quarters with the rest of my men.
Does he keep company with the common soldiers?
No, he's generally with me.
He lies with you?
No, faith. I offered him part of my bed, but the young rogue fell in love with Rose and has lain with her, I think, since he came to town.
So that between you both, Rose has been finely managed.
Upon my honour, sir, she had no harm from me.
Then all safe, I find. Captain, you must know that the young fellow's impudence in court was well grounded. He said I should heartily repent his being listed, and so I do from my soul.
For what reason?
Because he is no less than what he said he was. Born of as good a family as any in this county, and heir to £1,200 a year.
I'm very glad to hear it, for I wanted but a man of that quality to make my company a perfect representative of the whole Commons of England.
Won't you discharge him?
Not under £100 sterling.
You shall have it, for his father is my intimate friend.
Then you shall have him for nothing.
Nay, sir, you shall have your price.
Oh, not a penny, sir. I value an obligation to you much above £100.
Perhaps, sir, you shan't repent your generosity. In the meantime, we'll send for the gentleman. James, Captain, will you please to write his discharge in my pocket, sir?
Your worship?
Go to the captain's lodgings and inquire for Mr. Wilfull.
Sir, the gentleman's below at the door inquiring for the captain.
Ah, bid him come up.
Here's the discharge, sir.
Sir, I thank you. 'Tis plain Plume had no hand in it. Ah, Mr. Wilfull.
I think, Captain Plume, you might have used me better than to leave me yonder among your swearing, drunken crew. And you, Mr. Justice, might have been so civil as to have invited me to dinner, for I have eaten with as good a man as your worship.
Sir, you must charge our want of respect upon our ignorance of your quality. But now you're at liberty. I have discharged you.
Discharged me?
Yes, sir. And you must once more go home to your father.
My father?
Your father.
Then I'm discovered. Oh, sir, I expect no pardon.
No, no, child. Your crime shall be your punishment.
Sylvia!
Captain Plume.
Here, Captain. I deliver her over to the conjugal power for her chastisement. Since she will be a wife, be you a husband, a very husband, and use her worse than you would anybody else, because you can't use her so well as she deserves.
And are you Sylvia, in good earnest?
Ernest, I have gone too far to make it a jest, sir.
And do you, sir, give her to me, in good earnest?
If you please to take her.
Why, then I have saved my legs and arms and lost my liberty. Secure from wounds, I'm prepared for the gout and taxes. Sir, my liberty and hopes of being a general are much dearer to me than your £1,200 a year. But to your love, madam, I resign my freedom. And to your beauty, my ambition. Greater in obeying at your feet than commanding at the head of an army.
I'm sorry to hear, Mr. Balance, that your daughter is lost.
So am not I, Mr. Worthy, since an honest gentleman has found her.
Pray, Mr. Balance, what's become of my cousin Sylvia?
She is talking yonder, Melinda, with your cousin Plume.
How?
Do you think it strange, cousin, that a woman should change?
Sylvia?
But I hope you'll excuse a change that has proceeded from constancy. I altered my outside because I was the same within, and only laid by the woman to make sure of my man.
Your history is a little romantic, cousin, but since success has crowned your adventures, you will have the world at your side, and I shall be willing to go with the tide, provided you pardon an injury I offered you in the letter to your father.
That injury, madam, was done to me, and the reparation I expect shall be made to my friend. Make Mr. Worthy happy, and I shall be satisfied.
A good example, sir, will go a great way. When my cousin is pleased to surrender, 'tis probable I shan't hold out much longer.
Brazen! Gentlemen, I am yours. Madam Melinda, I am not yours.
I'm glad on't, sir.
So am I. You have got a pretty house here, Mr. Laconic.
'Tis time to right all mistakes. My name, sir, is Balance.
Balance? Sir, I'm your most obedient. I know your whole generation. Had you not an uncle that was governor of the Leeward Islands some years ago?
Did you know him?
Intimately, sir. He played at billiards to a miracle. A pickled old dog. I shall never forget it.
Captain, I've got loose once more and have persuaded my sweetheart Cartwheel to go with us.
Cartwheel.
But you must promise not to part with me again.
I find Mistress Rose has not been pleased with her bedfellow.
Bedfellow? I don't know whether I had a bedfellow or not.
Don't be in a passion, child. I was as little pleased with your company as you could be with mine.
Pray, sir, don't be offended at my sister. She's something underbred. But if you please, I'll lie with you in her stead.
I have promised, madam, to provide for this girl. Now, will you be pleased to let her wait upon you? Or shall I take care of her?
She shall be my charge, sir. You may find it business enough to take care of me.
Aye, and of me, Captain. For once, if ever you lift your hand against me, I'll desert.
Captain Brazen shall take care of that. My dear, have you got your recruits yet?
Not a stick, madame.
Then I shall furnish you. Instead of the £20,000 you talked of, you shall have the 20 brave recruits that I have raised, at the rate that they cost me. My commission I lay down to be taken up by some braver fellow that has more merit and less good fortune, whilst I endeavour by the example of this worthy gentleman to serve my queen and country at home. With some regret, I quit the active field, where glory full reward for life does yield. But the recruiting trade, with all its train of lasting plague, fatigue, and endless pain, I gladly quit, with my fair spouse to stay, and raise recruits the matrimonial way.
In The Recruiting Officer by George Farquhar, adapted for radio by John Foley, Captain Plume was played by Nicholas Bolton and Mr. Worthy by Benedict Cumberbatch. Kite was played by Philip Jackson, Sylvia by Jenny Funnell, Melinda by Lucy Briers, and Justice Balance by Derek Wearing. Captain Brazen was Michael Cochrane, Rose Alison Pettit, Bullock Gerard McDermott, and Lucy Joanna Burnett. Scruple was Hugh Dixon, Constable Harry Myers, and Jack Wayne Foskett. Technical presentation was by Mike Etherden, and the broadcast assistant was Tabitha Frankel. The Recruiting Officer was a BBC World Service drama production, directed by Gordon House.